I was looking back at a conversation that we had just at the beginning of the year, and you trumped everybody really when you joined us at the start of the year. You upped the dividend, your buyback, you defied the gloom. Are you still in a position to defy the gloom from what you're seeing inside the business at the moment as you look forward to the order book?
I think this was a reasonable start of the year. And the first good news was that personal health, which was weak throughout 2018, is now back to a solid 5% growth, driven by the Sonicare power toothbrush business, which had double-digit growth. A second highlight, which I think is important, is that the emerging markets grew double-digit, and China even a strong double-digit growth. And I know that a lot of people had questions about China, but I've always maintained a lot of optimism that the people there need more healthcare and that Philips is in a great position to grow. On the flip side, Europe was flat and North America had a small decline. But we are sitting on a huge order book because last year we had a 10% order growth. And some of these big orders will only make it to revenue in the course of Q2, Q3, Q4, and therefore momentum will build as we go through the year. And that's why I also look at it as a reasonable start, because I know that through the year we will get to our 4 to 6% growth target.
Okay, and that's important. The market wants to hear that from you. You've reaffirmed those midterm targets. Let's take some of that conversation and just get the decks cleared. I want to focus on Europe first of all. We've been through many cycles in Europe. I want you to benchmark this cycle. Have we passed recession risk hallmarks for you in Europe yet, first of all?
I think Europe is in a challenging situation. We have European elections coming up. Growth across Europe is uneven. So some countries are doing well, other countries don't. Overall, I see a flat to low single-digit market growth in Europe. And it is not exactly clear how that will pan out. Now, of course, it is a huge region with 500 million people, so it is important. But for growth at this time, Philips has been much more successful in emerging markets.
Okay, what about price increases, Frans? Where have you had to implement more price increases, if any? Because I know that the FX headwinds were something that you had to deal with, and as a result of that, you were in the process of implementing price rises. Were you able to make price rises stick and hold?
The headwinds in the first quarter were indeed partly Forex and partly the tariffs. We can only partly pass that on to customers in the short term. It takes some time to effectuate that, so it is not completely done yet. The best way, I always say to our people, to raise prices is through strong innovation. And I'm very pleased with the traction that we have, for example, in our image-guided therapy business, where we have market-leading innovation. Doctors can do the procedures 20% faster, treat more patients for less cost, and that is driven by our innovation. And we saw double-digit growth in our image-guided therapy business, and that is very exciting.
What about the healthcare margins? The last time you and I got together with Nara, you referred to fantastic margins, which caused the cogs in my mind to work. And I thought, if you had a choice, and you wanted to buy or do a bolt-on acquisition, will it be in healthcare? What is it that tempts you the most in terms of accelerating the growth story, if at all?
Well, the strategic pivot of Philips into a health technology company is working out for us very well. And over the last 4 years, we have every year increased margins by around 100 basis points and upped our growth trajectory. So the future for Philips is in health technology, in healthcare, improving people's lives. We have also, besides organic growth, done over 20 small bolt-on acquisitions. In the first quarter, we did again 2. So it is an exciting space. I think from a margin expansion point of view, we are on track to continue to improve. It's a combination of organic growth with selected bolt-on acquisitions.
To go back to your world map view, Frans, let's talk a little bit more about China. I spend a lot of time talking to people about triple R cuts, stimulus coming from the PBOC. Take those manoeuvrings by the PBOC and translate that, excuse me, translate that into what kind of an uplift you saw or trickle-down effect you saw from the authorities. How did stimulus manifest itself in the Philips business plan in China?
I think the best example that I can give to your question is the China strategy for healthcare 2030. China government realizes very much that there is an aging population with more chronic disease. The most prevalent issues in China are cardiovascular disease, chronic heart failure, COPD, and cancer. The country has not yet the infrastructure to deal with that tsunami of, let's say, disease and aging population. So within that strategy, there is a strong emphasis to expand healthcare and also to embrace artificial intelligence, build data lakes, and enable telehealth and teleradiology and telepathology. Philips is very well positioned in this space. We do see strong double-digit growth. Yep. So in that sense, the China macro strategy and the Philips business plan align quite well.
Frans, tell me this. You've negotiated a fair few deals in your time. As you look at the body language and the rhetoric from Xi Jinping and from Donald Trump, who needs a trade deal more? Who needs to get it over the line? Who's in the slightly more desperate position at this juncture, if you had to put a dollar down on it?
Are you asking me these challenging questions this morning, Manus? But, you know, here we see two very strong geographies that are not easily going to blink, right? And this is also why at Philips we said we should not count on this being resolved quickly. You know, there's more to the eye than only the tariffs. There's the whole geopolitical situation. And so we, as a multinational company, we stay neutral. We have a strong base in the United States. We are a net exporter from the United States. We have a strong presence in China and a strong presence in Europe. So we are, in that sense, an agile fleet that can navigate the world's storms and still do well.